Riddle me this, Batman. In the illustrious history that is science, at what point in their infinite wisdom and excellent decision-making did somebody drop the ball and give the job of naming whales to a horrible, perverted monster? Evidently, a very vengeful man was in charge of whale naming on that day. Let's go through the list right quick. Alright, blue, that sounds sad. Killer whale, that's pretty self-explanatory. Humpback, sperm. Did a scientist's family get finger blasted against their will on a pier to death when he or she was a child? Why is every whale either sad, a murderer, or a sexual deviant? Normally I wouldn't condone the use of a baby names book, but I think people would appreciate orcas more if instead of Killer, their name was Andy. I mean, I could understand how the mistake could be made, because like you see Jenkins in his cubicle, whale pictures lining the walls, less than an inch from each other, all attached together by strings in some kind of weird pattern, and you think, well, obviously he cares the most. Turns out he's been tracking the pod that killed his parents, waiting eagerly to exact his revenge on the entire species, and that revenge finally comes in the form of giving them names that make aspiring marine biologists elbow each other and giggle in high school. Did somebody's girlfriend leave them for a whale at some point? Well, I was just fishing on the dock with my girlfriend and a whale popped up and sprayed a fire hose strength jet of water directly up her skirt, and she left me because I could never do that for her. It wouldn't be so bad if they actually lived up to the monikers they were given. Show me a humpback whale straddling its victim into weeping submission, and I'll no longer consider that name inappropriate. Every moment that that whale spends not forcing itself onto other marine life is a moment squandered. They give you that name for a reason. If my name was kind of forceful tickle fight, I don't think there is any law that would stop me. And why is it called a sperm whale? Does it eject more per cubic foot than the rest of the creatures in its genus? Is that why salt water is so salty? Maybe all water was fresh water until the sperm whales went to school and one of their classmates told them how much fun it was to fondle themselves while staring through their neighbor's window. And what the fuck is a beluga? Does that combination of letters even occur naturally in the wild? Though, I suppose it's an appropriate name because beluga sounds like some kind of malignant tumor, and every one of those whales looks like it has a cancerous mound protruding from its forehead. It's that Mountain Dew dilemma all over again. You hold a contest to name a new species of whale, and then the internet gets a hold of it, and when the ballots get back, Hitler was right. Hitler was right, whale. None of these names give a good idea of a whale's relative size, so that's why I think a lot of people don't understand how big whales are truly. Like, a fisherman comes up to you and says, I caught a blue whale off the coast. That's cool. Don't know how big that is because it's a color. Maybe I'd be a little bit more interested in your story if instead of blue whale, the whale's name was 16-whaler semi-truck. I hate that pun. And don't even get me started on whale shark. I feel like they gave it that name in order to make it sound less menacing because it's a filter feeder, but that filter is still the size of a 2-car garage. If there was a giant vacuum inside a 2-car garage, literally sucking the air out of the air around you, sit there and tell me that that wouldn't be a little bit terrifying. It could also be because of their size. Whale sharks are very big. But even that doesn't work because giving a shark the name whale in order to make it seem friendlier is a strategy that backfires immediately. Sometimes killer whales like to play volleyball with seals before they eat them. They just bat them around in the air until they die. A whale shark is big enough to do that to me. So what you're telling me is that there's a mammal that lives in the water that can not only beat the shit out of me, but when it opens its mouth, it's like a giant drain with no cover? There is nothing that isn't scary about the ocean. Nobody ever watches this part. Nobody ever watches this fucking part. I have an app in the App Store and the Google Play Store where you can see all of my social media at once. That's my YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr at least. If you like my Tumblr, I don't know what's wrong with you. Anyway, it's totally free and it's no money. Both at once. So if you like that kind of stuff, check that out. Just search UnderDetention. I'm not very creative. Alright.